I dream of a city called heaven, so bright and so fair. As I enter into that great big city, the scenery was too numerous to tell my Lord. They carried me from mansion to mansion. Yes, they did. And more sights I saw, my Lord. Then I said, would you please let me see Jesus? I wanna see Jesus. He's the one who died for us all. And then I cried, holy to the Lord. I cried, holy to the Lord. I cried, holy.
WMPR Jackson 90.1 FM, serving Central Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and Arkansas.
It's 7 a.m. Let's rise and shine. Some talks money, the future's aligned. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author and Mr. Educator team, sharing the wealth, building things you should do. For trust to banking, it's all a must. Your guide to wealth is money and trust. Legacy matters, secure it right. Dreams take shape with every insight. Rules and assets, life insurance plans. Building for your future with expert hands. Small talks, money and more. Building wealth with knowledge galore. Asset protection, plans to grow. Dream and watch your dreams overflow. From day to day, you trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. From day to day, you trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. So bring it now, it's time to run. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is no talk money anymore.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine for another edition of So Talks Money and More. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor. Opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted and I am so excited and delighted to be here with you this third Monday in Women's History Month. I want to start out by thanking you, my WMPR listening audience and my WGDQ listening audience, as well as my YouTube viewing audience for tuning in today. I certainly appreciate your continued support. It means a lot to have people that will get up this early in the morning just to listen to what you have to say. And today I want to start out by just thanking all of you, as I said, for your support. And I have to start with an admission this morning. My spirit is a little bit vexed this morning. So feel free to call in at any time if you have a comment that you want to add to the discussion today. Our call-in number here in the studio is 601-948-5950. Over the weekend, we know that we experienced as a country several different natural disasters, if you will. We had everything from thunderstorms to tornadoes. We had dust storms. We had wildfires. And I understand we here in the state of Mississippi are even dealing with some flooding right now. And on top of all of that, we experienced an earthquake here in Mississippi. I don't know what all that means. And I'm sure that many of us will probably, have some type of opinion about the signs that are being displayed. But one of the things that happened during the midst of all of this outbreak from the West Coast, and now the storm is traveling up the East Coast, several individuals lost their lives. About 37, I think, the last count that I saw, 37 individuals lost their lives over the weekend due to natural disasters. Things that happen at the spur of the moment, sometimes without much warning. Sometimes we know things are coming, but still we can't run from them, we can't avoid them. Natural disasters. And in the midst of all of this, I'm reading and looking at everything that's going on. I have to start my show by extending my condolences to those individuals who lost family members during all of the outbreak. I know that's heartbreaking. I've experienced loss myself, and I know that's hard. I want to also extend my prayers to those individuals who lost homes and experienced the wrath of nature and the destruction with the loss of vehicles and all of the material possessions that they may have owned, but were spared their lives. I pray that you will receive the assistance and the support that you need to make a full recovery. We had people in my own hometown. Most of you know that I am from Jefferson Davis County, a little small town called Prentice. And we had several people in the community that lost everything they had during the storms, including a family member of mine who was just getting started in life, a young lady that I'm so proud of, a cousin of mine, lost everything. But the good Lord spared her life and the life of her children. And so we rejoice even in the loss. My prayers are that these families will recover. Even with all of that, I have to wonder. I have to wonder with the loss of lives about preparation, prior preparation. Listening audience, you know that Dr. Williams has been on a mission for almost a year now to heighten awareness, particularly in the Black community, on the importance of estate planning. Estate planning, getting your affairs in order. Because as we see, life happens. It happens in the blink of an eye. We can go from being on top of the world and thinking that everything is in order, and then nature strikes. And we find ourselves basically with nothing, starting over again. And we find ourselves sometimes experiencing the loss of a loved one. Preparation. I have to wonder, with the lives that were lost, how much preparation had been done. Statistically, only about 30% of the Black race have done anything to prepare for death. Prepare for death. We know it's coming. In the Black community, particularly in the Black church, all of us talk about heaven and wanting to get there. And certainly, if the good Lord doesn't come first, as I understand it, we got to die to get there. So we know it's coming. but what type of preparations are we making for it? See, what happens when you don't prepare for things, you find yourself in the defense mode. You know, those that are familiar with sports, it's pretty much the objective to be on the offense as opposed to the defense. You want to be prepared for the things that life throws at you. Because even in our death and our dying, we leave behind family, loved ones, obligations, and responsibilities. So even when one life ends, there are several others that continue. And there needs to be a plan put in place to make sure that that happens. I've been on a mission, you guys, for, as I say, almost a year to educate, inform, enlighten, and empower my community, the Black community, around the importance of preparation, prior preparation. I once read a quote by Regina King. You may know her from 227. I remember her. That's when I think we were first introduced to her back in 227 days. And I read a quote that she said many years ago, and it has stuck with me to this day. She said, proper prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Her words, not mine. Prior proper preparation. Okay. We've got to get prepared, people, for what we know is ultimately coming. Now, there are several reasons why this is a hard discussion and a hard conversation for many in our community. And I get it. I understand. You talk to people, and a lot of people just really don't want to deal with the conversation of death. We're scared to face our own mortality. I understand that. No judgment here. Dr. Williams has been there. But one of the things I realize is just because we don't want to face something, just because we don't want to deal with something, that doesn't make it go away. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Some of us are too busy to sit down and make plans. We all have a lot going on. We live in a society where things are happening pretty much 24/7 around the clock. And we have time for everything else, except for the things most of the time that truly do matter. We're busy. But that doesn't stop or negate the fact that when it's time will be up and you will be no more. There are some people, honestly, that think that everything that I'm talking about, that I've been talking about, does not impact them. It doesn't affect them. That stuff happens to other folks, not me. Those 37 lives that were lost over the weekend, I'm sure if you ask some of them, even that little 7-year-old girl or child that perished, probably never thought it would impact them. A storm? I've lived through many storms. I've survived. But it did. It impacts all of us, people. And then there are those, this show is called So Talks Money and More, so we got to bring it around to the money. There are those that are of the misguided notion that their stuff just costs too much. I can't afford to do that. And that's interesting to me because I'll say now what I've said many times. We as a community, we may complain about a lot of things, you guys, but money should not be one of them. We control anywhere from $1.3 to $1.8 trillion annually. We have money to do the things that we want to do. Yes, we do. And I can prove it. Hair, let's start there. Hair. No judgment here, people. I'm just saying. Hair. How much do we spend on our hair? We spend annually anywhere from, I'm sorry, not annually, per hairstyle. I'll put it like that. And I'm going to start with one that's pretty popular, the sister locks. To get our hair locked, sometimes it costs us anywhere from $750 up to $1,200, depending on the length of our hair, maybe even up to $1,500. But when we want to do it, we come up with the funds to get our hair locked because that's something we want to do. Shoes. Hey, some people, you go in their closet and it's just like being in a shoe store. Every color, every kind, we find the resources to buy the shoes. Even the most expensive ones, you know, the Christian, Louboutin, or as they're better known, the red bottoms. We buy those. And I think they start somewhere around maybe $400, $500 a pair. But when we want them, we buy them. Nails. Acrylic nails. You can get a set for about $50, $60. That's just the basic. But when we add all the fancy designs that we like, we drop $75, $100 in the nail shop. Once every 2 weeks, we come up with the money to buy those things that we want to buy. Purses, Louis Vuitton, Birkin bags, all of these name brands that we have been conditioned to believe that we're not carrying a purse if we don't have a name brand on our arm. And my question is, what do these people give back to your community, but you give your money to them? But that's a conversation for a whole nother show. Eyelashes. We invest in those things, people. We invest heavily. And I won't even start with clothes because most of us have way more clothes than we will ever wear. In fact, every time we get ready to go to an event, we go out and buy a new outfit without shopping first in our own closets because we've convinced ourselves that we have nothing to wear. And I say all this not that I'm trying to judge you, make you feel bad or any of that. I say it to just prove a point here. Money is not the issue when it comes to buying the things that we want. But there comes a time in life where you have to look beyond wants and look at what your needs are. And right now, people, with everything that's going on around us, we need to start moving differently. We need to start investing in us, invest in you. That's something that I am going to continuously encourage my people to do. I had a young man that called a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the boycotts of the different businesses, and he wanted to know what are some things that we should be doing or can be doing, or what would Dr. Williams recommend that we do with our resources. And I'm here to tell you this morning that the best investment that you'll ever make is one in yourself, your own knowledge and understanding, your own family, and your own community. And it starts with knowledge, people. It starts with knowledge. We're out here trying to play this game called life, and we're not really preparing ourselves. I'm going to use an analogy here that most of you should be able to relate to. I won't say most because I'm a little bit more seasoned than probably some. But I remember as a child, we used to like to play this card game called spades. Many of you are familiar with spades, and I've played it many different ways. And one of the things about playing spades is when you sit down at the table to play spades, one of the first things you should ask, what are the rules? because different players play by different rules. And if you don't know the rules of the game, it's kind of hard to win. That's one of the things that we need to ask ourselves when it comes to how do we ensure that we're passing on our wealth to the next generation, our family, those that will be left behind. What are the rules? Now, I told you a few reasons why people don't do their estate planning. But there's another reason why many people fail to plan. And that's because they simply don't know what to do or how to do it or where to begin. That's not a bad thing. First of all, you got to be honest with yourself. When you don't know, you simply don't know. The good thing is Dr. Williams does know, and I'm here to help you. But all I can do is extend an offer. All I can do is extend the offer to help. I just completed on last Tuesday a boot camp where I worked with several families to help them get their estate planning in order. And I feel really good about the decision to do that, because now I know that there are people out there that should something happen to them, they have put together a plan of action for how to proceed. They have put down the things that their families need to know in order to continue life without them. And I'm so thankful for those that entrusted me to help them. And I'm here to do the same for you. All of you that are listening to me, you know your situation better than I do. If you don't have your affairs in order, I'm asking you to allow me to help you, help educate you on the process of what needs to be done. You should be tired. I know I was. I was tired of having to put together funds to bury loved ones because they didn't take the time when they were on earth to do what they needed to do. We should be tired of having benefit dinners and setting up GoFundMes to bury people because we simply don't take the time to do those things that are necessary to get our affairs in order. When will you get tired of doing that? That is not the mode of operation that we should be in. That is not the way to ensure that we are positioning our families to build generational wealth. And that's what we should be thinking about. How will our families not only survive once we are not here, but how will they thrive? How will they thrive? It's a whole different conversation, whole different mindset. And I told you I was a little bit discouraged this morning coming on air, really, because I'm seeing something that is troubling to my spirit, you guys. When I go on social media and I look at what's being presented to me on social media, I tend to see a lot of people that truly appear to be very interested in being entertained. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being entertained, so don't misunderstand the message here. But I think everything has a time and a place. And right now, with where we are and everything that's going on the national level here in this country, with everything that's going on around us, the signs are there. Tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, dust storms, all of these different things. It's time for a mindset shift. We need to be thinking beyond just being entertained. You go on social media and there's this popular song. I'm sure many of you have heard it. Boots on the ground, boots on the ground. And everybody has their little boots on the ground challenge. Everybody wants to do a different version of boots on the ground, out boot each other, I guess. Well, I'm not so much concerned about boots being on the ground as I am about when those boots are up in the air. What happens then? Boots on the ground. I don't think your family is going to be concerned about your boots being on the ground when you are no more. They're going to be more concerned about whether you put your plans on the paper rather than they are about your boots being on the ground. They're not going to be asking where them fans at when you're not here. They're going to want to know where are your plans at when you are no more. What have you done? What are you doing to prepare your families? And I say this again, it's time for a mindset shift, Black people. We have been entertained enough. Enough is enough. And if you cannot see the signs, I don't know what's wrong with you. I have plenty pairs of glasses, and you are welcome to borrow any of them that you may choose. Handwriting is on the wall. It's time for us to do something different. Now, I will begin my second session of my boot camp on the 25th of March, and I'm inviting you to invest in yourself and come get you some education. I was at the Alzheimer's Foundation of America event that was held here in the capital city a couple of weeks ago, and there was an attorney that stood up and was doing a presentation on elder law. And he made the statement, I charge $400 an hour. And attorneys work based on hourly rates, and plus you got to give them the retainer to use their services. Whether you want to or not, when you pass on, if you have an estate, you're going to have to go through a process called probate unless you know how to avoid it, unless you have your affairs in order. I'm inviting you, those of you that are sitting here listening to me this morning who know your affairs are not in order, come check us out. I would love for you to hear some of the testimonials of people that I have helped to educate. It's not about being entertained. It's about being educated. And I'm looking for those people. And I'm troubled because I don't know where they are. I don't know where these people are, but I know they're out there. There are people out there that truly, truly want more for themselves and their families than to just be entertained all the time. Again, when you pass, your family is not concerned about whether those boots are on the ground. They're concerned about whether your plans are on the paper. And they're not looking for your fans. They're looking for your plans. So I invite you to visit my website, iamsonoted.co, and I'm going to spell it slowly so you can write it down. It's iamsewnoted.co. Please visit my website, you guys, and go ahead and allow me to help you. Allow me to help you, educate you on what you should be doing. I know you love your families. I love mine. And it's no judgment, none whatsoever. You can't do what you don't know. And here's your opportunity. My time is coming to an end, my friends, and I've got to make room for Mr. Henderson. I think he's waiting here in the studio to take the seat. I thank you for tuning in today, and I hope that you will invest in you, invest in yourself, your family, and your community. Do what is necessary, because whether we want to acknowledge it, accept it, admit it or not, death is coming for all of us. And We need to have something in place other than just our boots on the ground. We need to have some plans on the paper. Remember to follow me on social media at I Am So Noted. That's IAMSEWNOTED. And stream our shows online at WMPR90.1.com and 93.1WGDQ.com. Join me right here next Monday at 7 a.m. for another edition of So Talks Money and More. If it's Monday at 7 a.m., so is Talking Money and More. Peace.
I'm so talks money, the future's alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author, Mr. Educator, team, sharing the wealth, building things you should do. For trust to banking, it's all a must. Your guide to what gets money to trust. Legacy and grace, secure it right. Dreams take shape with effort inside. Rules and assets, life insurance plans, building for your future with expert hands. So talks money and more, building wealth with knowledge galore. Asset protection, plans to grow. Dream and watch your dreams overflow. From day to day, you trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides.